Alright, hey guys, it's Tyler here from the Van Bros. It's a new day, new location, and we're doing another deck profile here. Today we're going to be doing Amon, post whatever the latest set is. Darkness has really just been getting the only support, so we're going to do this. First off, we're starting up with Barmaid Grace. This is really the only starter you're ever going to need for Amon. If you play anything else, you're full. This card, basically Counterblast 1, arrest itself, give your any unit on the field that's an Amon plus 1k for each card in the soul. So based on every stride that we have, this card is dangerous. Very dangerous. Very good card. Next up, we got the main grade 3, 4 of Agares. He's basically what Amon's needed this whole time in life in Vanguard. At the beginning of your ride phase, or when you stride, basically pick 2 units on the field, give them plus 1k for every card in your soul. So you can even do this when you hit grade 3 and your opponent's on grade 2. So if you want to try to rush them, or if you want to try to stride, either way to go is really good. His secondary skill, you got to watch out for. You could deck yourself out. It's Counterblast 1, basically double your soul if you stride for an Amon unit, but it's really good if you try to go into any of the strides late game that actually need a big soul. Then we run 4 of the backup grade 3, the OG Amon. Never really need to use his skill. He's basically there just if I can't ride Agares. He's a beat stick on his own because he gets the 1k for every card in the soul by himself, but he's not the primary target, and going into him's kind of bad because he's a 10k base by himself on your turns. Run 4 Enigmatic Assassin. This card's definitely good. In the build I have, you want to try to kill them on first stride. When you stride for an Amon, you're basically going to double your soul with the grade 3's effect. You want to try to get as many of these into the soul as possible during that, and if you can, just call them all out and rush them as much as you want. I run 1 Dimension Creeper. It's just there for the consistency. Some of the strides I have are darkness, so if I really can't do anything else, which usually you can, he's there just to fix that problem. I run 4 of the old school Amon, grade 1. This is just basic skill. When it's called in the rear guard, if you have an Amon Vanguard, soul charge 2. The new Amon grade 1, it's essentially the same effect as the old one, but the thing is with this, it gains power off of each card in the soul. It gets plus 5 for every 5, so if you combine it with the stride skill or on ride skill of the grade 3, you can double that power and swing for big numbers. 4 of the Succubus of Everys. It's really good because since you're soul charging almost everything, you're going to need to pull it out. I don't really run the Amon one just because it's a quintet, so it's really easy to deck out. But this, you're always going to have in your soul most of the time, so you can just pull it out whenever you feel you need to. If not, you could leave it there. 4 of the new Amon grade 2s. His skill is the same as the grade 1. It soul charges 2 if you have an Amon Vanguard, and it gets plus 5k for every 5, so you can swing with big numbers with this card as well with the grade 3, or the starter. 3 of the old school grade 2. It's just another generic one. When you place on Vanguard, if you have an Amon Vanguard, it's just soul charge 2. I only want to run 1 of these cards just because I feel sometimes you need it. It has a lot of stand triggers in the deck, so if you can use them all at once, standing this card in the rear guard is really good. You could just soul charge up to 9 times most of the time if you get the chance. 1 draw trigger, because draw triggers are dangerous in Dark Irregulars. You don't want to run too many. 1 vanilla crit. And 3 of the good crit. It's really good early game if you happen to soul charge it and you have the counterblast. Just snipe out the opponent's starters. If not, late game, it's not too good because you're going to run out of counterblasts, but it's really there just in case.
You're pissing me off.
3 Amon stand triggers. All the units in this deck are going to swing for big numbers, so being able to restand them potentially is really, really good. And with that, you gotta have the cat stand trigger. Basically, this is the engine for the deck. It goes through counterblasts really quick, so if you actually get your hands on one of these by your first stride, it's basically a good game. And then we have 4 of the new Amon heal triggers. It also helps a lot with the problem for counterblasts, and if you actually happen to need to do darkness at all for your G guards, it's really good for that as well. Moving on to the G zone, I run 1 Amon's Talon. If you combine it with the skill of the grade 3 to give 2 units the 1k for each rear guard, or for each card in the soul, he also gives them plus 3k for every 5 in the soul. So if you actually have 2 rear guards in the field before stride, he's the primary one you want to go into and swing for really big numbers on your first stride. 4 Red Eye. I never really have to go into more than 2 of them, but he's basically the best stride in the deck for this deck build. He's only at counterblast 1, so combined with the starter, you're not really taking up too much, but you can retire almost your opponent's whole field combined with the stride skill of the grade 3. And then he also swings for a critical, and he also gives your rear guards and himself power. 2 Gil's Durai. He's a staple in all the decks, but I'm actually probably going to take him out for Balam, just for the sake of the new era. 2 Bluttermouse. With this deck, it's really good later on if they actually survive all the Amon strides, because if you're going to be soul blasting all your stuff, or soul charging, you have to put all your triggers and everything back in like immediately, or you're going to deck out by the next turn. So he's really just there to be able to fill your deck back up, but he's really good as a card himself. This is just a backup if I actually have to G-assist. I keep him there for the sake of that, along with Sorrowful Slice. Some of the cards are darkness needed, so he's there to help fill that cost, and if I happen to soul charge one of my perfect cards, he's good for that. I have Frederick as well. I keep him for the sake if I go through all of my Amon's Red Eyes. His skill to be able to put Enigmatic Assassin into the soul is really good as a backup, just in case I actually have to try to rush them. I have 1 of the flipping G-Guard. He's not too good by himself, but the fact that he's able to make a big shield is really good, but he's not the best G-Guard in the deck. 2 Sabnax. I think he's possibly the best G-Guard for Dark Irregulars. With this build, it's really easy to get rushed, so him being able to give your Vanguard 5k to the end of the turn really saves you a lot if you're able to use him. And then just 1 of the old school G-Guard. This is basically just so you can actually soul charge if you happen to need to go into something that has a restriction for it, like Gil's Durai or Balam, and that's pretty much it for the G-Zone. Alright, so that's my Amon deck profile. That's going to be the end, really, result for the G era. With the new standard coming out, though, I'm really excited for Amon to get support again. Maybe I'll update this in the premium or just go back to standard. So hopefully you can see another deck profile in the future for standard for Amon.